you need to go to the help desk, and you need to choose for vaccination appointment and select I am a student and need to travel to study abroad. This will ensure that your appointment will be much faster. So in summary, it can help you to avoid any additional procedures such as getting the second dose in the UK, which is not that viable, but it's possible. But the best way is for you to get, if you opt for a vaccine, it is advisable for you to opt for the 2-dose in Malaysia. And second thing, an update in terms of travel for all Malaysian students who will be flying to the UK this September or autumn. Because from now, this year, you need to inform the Immigration Department of Malaysia. You need to apply for a travel pass via My Travel Pass. You can search in Google My Travel Pass. It is an online form where you can fill and upload information about your travel and your intention to study abroad. So what you need to do is you need to upload the unconditional offer letter by the university in the UK. It is optional to upload like flight ticket or accommodation information, but the processing time will take roughly around 7 to 14 working days. So it is advisable for you to complete this process at the soonest when you receive the offer, okay? Don't wait until the last minute because it will take some time, 5 days to 14 days. So it is advisable for you to get this done. In terms of visa, as you are aware, in Malaysia, we are in the MCO, and especially in Selangor, we are at the restricted and strict PKPD or MCO enhanced procedure. So the office of VFS, the one that processing the UK visas and immigration to the UK, is now closed. But just to let you know, an update for as well as for students, parents, and counselors and agents in this call, that the VFS office actually open once a week, operate once a week, but they only process urgent matters, which the matters that under this category urgent is such as medical treatment, university intake closer to the deadlines. Okay, so once students receive the CAS, they need to apply for the visa, but this urgency only applicable to those who, let's say, going to depart to the UK in the same month. So you can contact VFS in Malaysia for these urgent matters, and they will set an appointment for you in a particular week for you to settle the visa procedure. In terms of one of the most question that we got from our mailbox is, does UK allow me to enter if I take X vaccine? So vaccine status is not a requirement to enter the UK, so no need to worry. But just for the info, that the COVID-19 vaccines currently approved for use in the UK are Moderna vaccine, Oxford AstraZeneca, Pfizer BioNTech, and also Janssen vaccine, which will be available later this year. But nonetheless, it does not put a status which is as part of the requirement if you would like to enter the UK. Okay, for self-isolation guidance, if you are departing to the UK this autumn, you need to isolate for 10 days. Malaysia is in the amber list countries, so you need to isolate, quarantine yourself at a designated place agreed with your university. So, but I would like to highlight that you can opt for a test to release scheme, which will enable you to take a private COVID test. You can skip your quarantine on the 5th, on the 5th day of your quarantine. So if you take on the 5th day, the result is negative, you can stop the quarantine, but you still need to take another COVID test on the 8th day. Okay, but if you would not like to opt for the test to release scheme, you can quarantine for 10 days. Okay. And I would like to highlight, this is the latest and very latest. This month, we just launched the graduate route. It is a post-study work opportunity or visa for international students to work in the UK for 2 years with undergraduate degree and a master. For PhD, you can stay up for 3 years working in the UK. So the procedure is that before your visa expired and you have completed your degree, okay, you can opt for this graduate route. You need to apply for the graduate route with a new fees, around £700 for a new graduate route application. And this will allow you to stay for another 2 years to work in the UK. There's no exception in terms of the type of work. Okay, you can work in the UK in any type of work you intended or interested to study. So basically, this is a very great opportunity. And today we have a speaker, an alumna from University of Nottingham. Alia will share her experience about working in the UK, more about it at the end of the session. Even though she's not a graduate of the graduate route visa applicants, but she has the experience of working in the UK, which will be beneficial for us to hear more. Okay, so this graduate route is just open. Okay, it is open for any graduates, any students who will graduate this year and onwards. So for example, if you're going to study in the UK in this autumn, September 21, you can apply for the graduate route 3 years later. Okay, so as you all know, the language test, the impact of COVID is really in Malaysia, the test center closed and we're still operating at minimal based on appointment. But students may also take IELTS indicator and online test. Okay, it is marked by IELTS examiner. You can go to the British Council website to get to know more about the IELTS indicator exam. Some universities accept this IELTS indicator, so please get to know more about this, contact British Council. You can take the IELTS indicator test. Okay, but if you still opt for face-to-face, you need to also contact the British Council IELTS team, exam team. But it is quite hard in terms of getting the timeline right now because we are quite near to the September. So I foresee that if you have already received an unconditional letter, please focus on getting the visa done. All right, I would like to highlight a part where I think where most of you also know that the NHS is a top quality ministry who's dealing with the COVID-19. I think in our next session, Mr. Ron will also highlight about the vaccination program in the UK. But from my end, I would like to highlight that the health and being is the priority of the UK education, the UK government, and the UK institutions. So the NHS, when you opt for the visa application, you need to pay for the NHS fee. It will give you the first class treatment and support, same as what the UK citizens get. You can consult doctor, physicians free of charge, and almost the same of what UK citizens get. For example, you are able to access medicines prescribed by doctors, eye tests, eye care, dental care, free vaccinations. As long as you register with the local GP, you can opt for the vaccinations for free. Okay, so for more info, you can go to the nhs.uk to get more info on this. For scholarship, if one of you looking for a postgraduate, you can go for at the Study UK website. We just closed the Great Scholarships for 2021, 2022, but in the next Great Scholarships, you can apply. It gives you 10,000 worth of scholarships for you to continue your postgraduate study. So Edward, our next speaker, is one of our product of Great Scholars recipient in 2020. So stay tuned for the next intake. And Chevening Scholarships, I think most of you know this, is an opportunity to get a scholarship at a full, including your allowance, your tuition fees. Right now, there's also closed the intake for this year, 21-22, but stay updated at Chevening website for the next 2022-2023 intake. Okay, last but not least, I would like to highlight that we have the Prepare to Study and Live in the UK course. The course is entirely free. It is hosted by Future Learn in an online platform. It is a 4-week online course. So in this course, you will have the chance to get to know what is the learning that you will learn in the UK. You'll have the tips, latest tips, and you can interact with like-minded individuals in the platform for the 4 weeks. The registration is now open. You can go to the futurelearn.com courses/prepare to study UK for more info and sign up for the online course. It is free of charge. So I really, if you're interested to study in the UK, please go to the FutureLearn or the Study UK website to get to know more about the online course free of charge for all prospective students. And if some of you are preparing for work, just graduated, we also have an online course for graduates, final year students who are about to end their study. This is an online course preparing for work. It's designed to help participants to increase their employability skills, such as how to make CVs, how to speak, communication, to attract more employers. Okay, so you can also go to the FutureLearn and register for this Study UK preparing for work. Okay, so that's the end of my session. I will. The next session is with BUILA. So if you have any questions, please do visit our website, or you can email me at rifhan.roslan@britishcouncil.org, or go to Study UK. You can find so many tools about studying in the UK. All right, moving to the next session with British Universities International Liaison Association. We have Ms. Siobhan Robinson. She is the head of international recruitment at Cardiff University. Siobhan joined Cardiff University as a deputy director of the international office in 2013, before becoming the head of international recruitment in 2017 until now. Her career in higher education began in managing a European-funded project providing skills development and training to South Wales SMEs. In 2007, she joined the international office at Cardiff Metropolitan University as an international officer covering South Asia and Africa, then as senior international officer before taking on the management of the international recruitment function as international strategy and marketing manager. Siobhan was elected onto the BUILA executive member executive in November 2019 and leads on liaison with the wider wealth sector for BUILA. Please welcome Ms. Siobhan.
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you very much. So I'm here to be able to talk to you this morning, or this afternoon, I think, in your time. It's still morning for me in the UK, to give you some reassurance about your UK study plans and what these will mean for you. So if
Siobhan, you're on mute.
Yeah, Siobhan, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, so sorry about that. I think it didn't unmute because the alerts keep coming up as people are joining. So I'll just go back to the beginning. Apologies for that. So it's very nice to meet you all this morning, well, this afternoon in your time. It's still morning here in South Wales in the UK. And I'm here to talk to you today to give you some reassurance about your UK study plans and what things will look like for you joining us this autumn. So universities in the UK are ready to welcome students for the start of the new academic year in September, and universities are preparing to deliver high quality teaching in line with government guidance that ensures the health and safety of everyone on our campus remains our top priority. UK universities have been following strict guidelines on health and safety, which have been issued by the UK government and public health authorities in the UK. And these guidelines and measures are based on scientific evidence. And that's why we've seen that our guidelines shift in response to specific sets of circumstances at any one time. As the UK government moves on to the next steps in controlling COVID-19, our universities have put in place a number of measures to ensure student safety from arrival through to enrolment and then into your study journey. The UK government's official bodies for each region of the UK, such as the Office for Students in England, have a mandate to protect all international students, and each UK university has a student protection plan to make sure that they do that. Next slide, please. So the UK has been gradually reopening. Travel within the UK is allowed, and we can travel through all parts of the UK with no restrictions. And many of our cultural and hospitality venues are now open again. So it's a really positive environment here at the moment. People are feeling really positive. We've got a lot of freedom back after quite a long period in restrictions and lockdowns as well. And that's partly due to our successful vaccination programme that's given us the confidence that this easing of restrictions and move back to normal life is set to continue. So some decision making within the UK has devolved across the 4 nation governments, that's England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, but all 4 countries have been following similar kinds of controls. And these
Siobhan, you're on mute again.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening because I'm not pressing the mute button, so apologies for that. So in terms of the controls that we have in the UK currently, there are social distancing requirements in public spaces. Some restrictions on social gatherings indoors and outdoors. So that's on, for example, how many people you can meet in certain environments. And for example, if you're in a restaurant, you can remove your mask while sat at a table, but you have to wear it while you're walking around the venue, in and out the venue to the toilets and that sort of thing. In bars and restaurants, it's currently table service only, and this is all to help manage the risks. Mask wearing is mandatory on public transport and in places like supermarkets and shops and other retail outlets. And there are restrictions on travel into and out of the UK, and we're currently under a traffic light system that also includes the testing and quarantine that was mentioned in the previous presentation. So the UK government are starting to set out the processes to lift more restrictions. In England, there's a planned announcement for restrictions to be lessened further on the 19th of July. In Wales, we're expecting an announcement by the end of next week, and in Scotland and Northern Ireland, they will have similar announcements coming over the coming weeks as well. Next slide, please. So as we've already mentioned, the UK has had a very successful vaccine rollout. The government have introduced a very extensive vaccine programme, and that is due to be completed by the summer. As of a few days ago, the latest data that we have shows that 45 million people in the UK had received at least their first vaccine dose, and that's about half of our population, and in some regions that's slightly higher. So in Wales, our vaccine rollout has been a little bit quicker, so our percentages are a little bit higher here, and that equates to around 33 million people who have been fully vaccinated, and I'm fortunate to say that I'm one of those people as well, so I've had both of my vaccines. International students already in the UK will be offered the vaccine as part of their international health surcharge. And you're not required to be vaccinated to enter the UK. Because we have those quarantine requirements in place, then you're not required to have vaccines or a particular vaccine before arrival. Okay, next slide, please. So in terms of requirements for arrival, we do advise that you check the latest information on requirements to enter the UK before you travel. These requirements can change, and they have been known to change fairly regularly, and it's sometimes at quite short notice. So it's worth keeping a close eye on what's happening so that you're prepared and you don't get any surprises at the last minute that might be too late for you to respond to. It might be a good idea for you to carry confirmation that your course has started face-to-face teaching with you when you travel, so maybe a printout or a screenshot of emails that you've received. That's not entirely necessary, but could be useful if you're asked at immigration, and then you have that as a reference point without worrying where you're going to find that information to show any officials. You are required to have a negative test result 3 days before you travel, and you are also required to complete the passenger locator form, which gives us the information about where you're heading in the UK and where you can be located. All passengers arriving into the UK are required to self-isolate for 10 days. That includes students or passengers coming from amber list as well as red list countries. If you're coming from a red list country, then you're required to quarantine in a managed quarantine hotel. But coming from Malaysia, you're coming from an amber list country, so you are required to quarantine, but you can do that in the accommodation where you will be residing. So there's no special requirements for accommodation. As already mentioned, you do need to book the travel test package, and that includes tests for you to take on days 2 and day 8, but there may be an option for you to opt for the test to release scheme that might allow you to come out of your isolation slightly earlier. University testing may be offered on some campuses. So at Cardiff University, for example, we are offering free testing for all of our students as and when needed, but that testing does not exempt you from the normal quarantine restrictions. So that testing is alongside provision, but it does not replace those official requirements. And the requirements may differ depending on which part of the UK that you are in or that you're going to. So the rules in Wales and Scotland are slightly different to those in England, and we advise that you check that information as well. If you contact your university, they should be able to give you the advice that you need on your requirements. Next slide, please. Okay, so UK universities are responding to the UK government roadmap, and they're pulling together their plans for September. In some cases, the information may still be a bit vague, and I know students are starting to ask a lot of questions, and we don't always have the answers to those questions. But that's because the universities are working through the requirements. But they will keep you informed when they have made decisions and when that information is available, and that will you will find you will get a lot more information as you near the start of your programme. Many institutions will be offering flexible dates for arrival on campus. That will give you extra time and flexibility in making your preparations, getting your visa and getting your flights and yourself sorted to the UK. And your university should be able to advise you where that flexibility may be offered. Some universities will also be offering online delivery options for some programs. So again, that gives you more time and more flexibility. You can start your studies from home and then make plans to transition to your university at a slightly easier time. That won't necessarily be available on all programs. So some programs do require you to be there from the very beginning because of the type of teaching, and that may not be able to be delivered online. So again, make sure that you check what information the universities are providing. Blended learning, so that's a combination of online and on-campus face-to-face learning, is likely to continue in some form or another. That's likely to look more like large lectures being delivered online, because that's a good way for universities to limit the risk, and then allowing for more of the smaller lectures and smaller sessions, face-to-face sessions and seminars to run on campus. And that's worked well for us over the last 12 months in the times when we've been able to have students on campus. Universities will be putting in place arrival support for students, so that would include coach collection services, meet and greet services, accommodation options, and also support for you if you're required, when you're required to isolate, whether it's in university or private accommodation as well. And universities have put in extra support for student welfare and well-being to make sure that you're supported in those early weeks and then throughout your time studying at the university as well. And a key thing to note is that we're all preparing very carefully for different scenarios. So there is a possibility that alert levels could change, and that might influence what level of teaching we can deliver on campus, for example. So universities are preparing for that. So if the alert levels do change, they can transition quite smoothly from one scenario to another, so that your education experience is impacted as little as possible. And then one final thing to note here is that universities are offering, where possible, flexible admissions processes. We understand that results may be delayed in some circumstances. We understand that it may be difficult to meet certain deadlines because of the impact of COVID on the environment that you're in. And where possible, universities are very sympathetic to this, so they can support you through that application and arrival journey. Next slide, please. So we've been delivering teaching in this environment for some time now, and have the benefit of experience from the last year or so in terms of the delivery for next year for you as new arrivals to the universities. It's less likely that we'll end up back in a period of full lockdown like we did last year. So we expect some of the blended learning to continue, and in some cases universities will be able to move to fully on-campus provision as well. A huge amount of money has been invested in upgrading the digital learning experience to ensure that you still get a high quality experience regardless of the environment in which you're studying. And student feedback over the last 12 plus months has been really positive in many cases about how this online delivery has worked for them. COVID-19 has highlighted the crucial role that universities play in developing and sharing knowledge and bringing together the best minds and facilitating collaborative research to meet the challenge of the pandemic. And the UK has a global reputation for its research, and its universities are on the cutting edge of new discoveries as well. And the UK universities have also put student wellbeing at the heart of all of their functions, and have plans in place to keep students, staff and local communities safe. So as I've already mentioned, our universities have implemented a number of support services for international students to access, including the airport pickup services, support through self-isolation periods, food packages, accommodation support, that sort of thing. And universities are also offering increased mental health support, putting lots of initiatives in place to support you in keeping active and helping you to socialise safely, whether you're with us on campus or whether you're studying remotely from home. There's also been a programme of mental health support for students during COVID called Student Space, and that's been created for students in England and Wales. So whether it's your mental health, your studies, money, housing or relationships, there are resources and support available to you on the Student Space website, and we can share those details with you later. Next slide, please. Great. So just to recap really on what I've mentioned so far. So the outlook in the UK is really positive. I think the vibe and the feeling here is really positive as well. We're starting to be able to engage in life much more like normal. So you may have seen on the TV that we've had some concerts in the UK. Wimbledon is running with people in the stands watching the matches live. We've had the football matches here recently as well with live crowds. So it's starting to feel like we're getting a return back to a normal life, which is a really good thing. There is a continuation of the COVID secure plan in terms of how universities are responding to COVID and those measures to keep you safe. So timetabling will be managed around social distancing requirements. There are plans in place to support safe transportation, safe student housing, and then supporting incoming students, as we've mentioned. For those of you looking for pre-sessional English support, most universities have been able to move that online so that you can access that from home and to give you a bit more time for planning to arrive in the UK. And as mentioned, we hope that campus will be open and back to as much as normal as it possibly can be, with some flexibility, and the decisions around that will be based on continuing guidance. So many universities will be offering a blended approach, which will give you that additional flexibility and choice, and many universities will be offering staggered start dates as well. So just to highlight, I think the UK has still got a really fantastic offer for students, and we're really looking forward to welcoming you this autumn. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Siobhan. That's a very very quick. Okay, thank you, Ms. Siobhan, for the session just now. And moving to the next, I think that the session was great. Give us a plenty of outlook about the UK education right now, and also a bit of medium-term outlook of where it's going to hit, especially for the autumn intake. And moving to the next session, I would like to invite a student from the University of Staffordshire, Edward Tien. He is a great Scholarship 2020 recipient, and he is passionate about games. He studied MA in esports. He has a high ambition to change the esport industry in Malaysia. So please welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Rifan, for the introduction. Can anyone hear me right now? Is my mic working? Please comment.
Hi, Edward, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, okay, sure.
Yes.
How about the slides? Because right now I can't see my slides over here. Slides, no slides. Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, I will upload again.
Shireen, can you share the slides?
Sure, yeah. Let me just share it really quickly.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
No worries, Edward. My colleague will share the slides for you.
All right. Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Tien. Thank you, British Council, for inviting me to talk about my experience studying and living in the UK. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. So for the one more slide next. For the introduction, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm a passionate gamer. I started playing video games when I was 5. I played PC games, Game Boy, PSP, and the recent mobile games. So, does anyone in this room play video games? Leave a comment on what games you play in the chat box. I would like to know your video game preferences. And I have never dreamt of studying a video game related course back in the primary school days in the mid 2000. I can see the world is constantly changing with the advancement of technology. Esports, known as electronic sports, is emerging in the current fourth industrial revolution. Currently, I'm studying a postgraduate degree in esports with a great scholarship. Next slide. Thank you. Next, I will talk about my overall experience. Next slide, please. So I always wanted to fully indulge myself in the British culture and lifestyle. So I decided to stay in a 2-story red brick house behind the university campus. Upon my arrival in the UK, Staffordshire University provided 2 weeks of food supply for me to isolate in my room. That was last year, October. Also, the accommodation team called Rest Life gave me a box of free kitchen sets. I was well taken care of when I arrived in the UK. I was staying with my game design and game program students and also friends. And also, they are from Southeast England and Northern Ireland. We had a great culture exchange. We talked about national cuisines, the differences in dating cultures, our favorite movies, and of course, video games. Talking about the weather, British people like to talk about the weather. I have joined the fun conversations with them. You know, the weather is unpredictable. Every day is quite a surprise. I'm always wondering what the weather will be tomorrow. When speaking about my university in Stoke-on-Trent, there is a world-renowned English ceramic and home accessories manufacturer in Burslem, Stoke-on-Trent, which is situated in the center of English pottery. I am planning to buy a few English ceramic decorations and plates for my family members and friends. Many people in this room might be wondering what is the current COVID-19 situation in the UK. Despite the spike of COVID-19 cases in recent weeks, vaccination makes a difference. There are much less people being hospitalized. I will explain this in the later slides. Next. Thank you. Okay, as you can see, there is a sticker on the laptop. So the sticker perfectly describes my current status. I am a researcher by day, a gamer by night. Next. Thank you. Okay. The MAE sports course is on the twin campus. That means there is one group of students in the headquartered campus at Stoke-on-Trent and another group of students in the newly opened campus branch in London. Because of the online lessons previously, we can attend the class together at two different locations, and that can expand my social circles. And moreover, I can consult the professors weekly on Microsoft Teams during the start of the lockdown earlier this year. Despite that, all students are allowed to return to campus in the UK since 17 May, announced by the UK government. And speaking about the early vaccination, Staffordshire University partnered with the local GP to provide an early vaccinations program to lecturers and students on campus. I'm 23 and I received my first dose of Pfizer on 9 June. Also, the next factor of strength, my experience is that the positive experience will be cultural exchange. Cultural exchange is one of the key reasons for me to travel to the UK amidst the global pandemic. The UK has a diverse culture. One of the very good examples for that is the BBC News English pronunciation is the received pronunciation known as the Standard British English. It is one of the many English accents. In fact, there are at least 40 types of English accents. It can be really fun and confusing sometimes when interacting with people, friends, and flatmates. For the disadvantage, there is only one, which is the online lessons. Some courses cannot be involved in practical lessons for several months during the lockdown back then, when nationwide vaccine program just started in January. That happened to some of the practical courses, but not all. Fortunately, it did not affect my course, which was full of research and theory related. Only the important healthcare and social work related courses that have practical classes were allowed to be taught on the campus between February and May. Despite that, the universities have been very welcoming to all students returning back to the campuses since May, while a wider scale vaccine program was rolling out nationwide. I can return to the campus now. So I believe this disadvantage will no longer apply to your future term time study in the UK when the government removes most of the lockdown rules in later July. And for the opportunity, studying in the UK has always been my dream. It feels really good when your dream does come true one day. You feel the pride of telling people that you were once living and staying in the UK. And for the threat, it depends on how you look at COVID-19. Every cloud has a silver lining. Right now, the job market is very tight and the unemployment rate is high across the world. I believe that right now is really the perfect time to upgrade yourself with the knowledge and skills that aligns with your future. Next. Okay, next. thoughts on the future learning and teaching amidst the global pandemic. Next slide, please. So in order for me to foresee the future learning and teaching in the upcoming autumn, let's look at some news here. So all the students can return to campus since 17 May, and that yeah, some of the news have been repeated. So next. Yeah, so UK is ranked second for the most vaccinated country in the world right now. So next. So I will share about my great scholarship experience. Next. The Great Scholarship is jointly funded by the UK government's Great Britain campaign and the British Council with participating UK higher education institutions. Each scholarship is worth a minimum of £10,000 towards the tuition fees for a one-year postgraduate course. For more information, please have a look at the link that I posted on this PowerPoint slides, and maybe you can just screenshot for your reference. And also, I am very grateful to study a video game related course with a great scholarship. I really enjoyed the esports course. I learned about the history, culture, and law of esports around the world. Also, with the wonderful study opportunity, I am the first person in the UK to research Malaysia's emerging esports scene in the industry, right? And I hope that this research can encourage more researchers to pay attention to Malaysia's esports development in the near future and push the industry to greater heights. Next. So I will end the presentation with a quote. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edward. It's a very organized presentation, and I really appreciate your time to spend on your morning in this. And I hope that everyone in the audience managed to find so much inputs from you, your experience as a student during the pandemic. And right now we are quite nearly at the end of it in the UK. Thanks, Edward. And moving to the next session, we're going to hear from Ms. Amalina Alia, from alumni of the University of Nottingham. She worked in the UK for nearly 3 years. She's a senior analyst right now in Malaysia, a senior business analyst. So I would like to pass the floor to her. Thank you. Please welcome Ms. Alia.
Hi, thanks, Irfan. All right, that was an amazing slides from Edward. I don't have any slides to share with you guys today because it was a pretty short notice for me. So I'm Alia. I'm an alumni of University of Nottingham. Graduated in the year of 2016. So my sharing session is going to be light and easy, yeah. So currently I'm working as a senior business analyst in the fintech industry. It's a company called Juristech. So as I'm aware that you can apply for the graduate route now when you have completed your undergraduate program, when you've done your master's or degree or PhD, I would like to share some bits and pieces of my working experience when I was in the UK. I was working there for 2016 to 2019. So graduated in the summer of 2016 from University of Nottingham. I graduated in computer science with artificial intelligence. I did some traveling here and there until my visa ended. The graduate route did not exist yet last time. So by the time your visa ends, it's just time for you to go back home. So I came back to Malaysia and I started working for a UK digital advertising company. It's a company called Inspired Mobile. The company is now based in Damansara. I worked there as a front-end developer. So after a couple of months working in that Inspired Mobile company, I applied internally to be transferred to the London HQ office, because my husband is is planning to pursue his master's in Coventry University. So, and lucky enough, the managers and the board of directors, everyone's accepted me to be transferred to the London office. I was really thrilled at that time because one of the reasons was my office was located in London, like in the metropolitan area. It was overlooking Eye of London, and my lunchtime was always a walk around at the park overlooking the Big Ben, and it was nice. I mean, it was really nice for me because you don't really get that experience and chance here in Malaysia. You probably walk in KLC, but it's still good. Aside from the wonderful view from my working desk, it's a project exposure that I was able to work on with remarkable clients. So one of the big projects that I was able to work on was Burberry. It was a campaign that my team and I was assigned to. We had a discussion with we were going to the London HQ office and with the head of marketing and head of designer to discuss on how the output is going to be. So it was really exciting because the Burberry office was, of course, it was very futuristic, high tech and slick. So I don't get to experience that every day. So it was really remarkable for me. Something that I would still remember until now. And the project went smoothly. So after a year working there in London office, so in the year of 2018, I started to apply for a new job somewhere around Coventry, Warwickshire. So and I was fortunate enough to land a job as a backend developer at a company called Upland Rent and Rave. It's a software company as well. It's a different company. It's a different I would say environment and culture was definitely different than how it was in London. It's chill and fun, and it's opposed to how it is in London because London was mostly hectic and intense. It's very fast paced. So the highlight of me, why I like going to work in this company every day is because of the colleagues that I was able to. I look forward to working, even though programming was hard, but it's the colleagues and the environment, the culture of the company makes me want to go to work every day. So my company, if you Google up, it's Rent and Rave. It's just walking distance from University of Warwick. And my highlight of working in this company was I get to go for the annual company trip, and the annual company trip was to Ibiza, Spain. It's truly amazing. Actually, only those people who has worked for 1 year plus entitled to go for the company trip. But then some people did. Some of the current colleague did not go for some reason, so they had to release a ticket. So I got lucky. Yeah. So that was really amazing. And then later in the year of 2019, I moved back to Malaysia. So what I want to say is that with the experience I had from working in the UK, it gives me an advantage of receiving multiple job offers with lucrative salary. But to me, I would say it's about experience and exposure given in the UK was definitely different than how it was in just working in Malaysia. It's something I truly treasure. Since my sharing is coming to an end and the time is a bit tight, so I'm just going to summarize. So I would like to say that this graduate route, where you can apply for graduate visa after you have completed your studies, is definitely an incredible opportunity for you to stay and search for jobs and apply. You would have enough time to apply for jobs and work and gain. You'll not just be gaining invaluable working experience abroad it will help you with your personal development, but it will also, of course, it's a wonderful adventure in your life, but it will also help you with your future professional career. It's basically a golden ticket to kickstart your career, I would say. Yeah, so I guess that's all for me. Anyway, if anyone wants to get connected, I'm on LinkedIn. Yep. Thank you. So that's all, Rayfan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alia, for your insightful inputs about working experience in the UK. And I do take note about the fact that the cultural experience is one of the most important thing that you learn while you work with the UK colleague and your international experience. That's the most important thing that will also contribute to your skill set when you return back to Malaysia right now. All right. Thank you so much, Edward, Alia, and Ms. Siobhan. We have 7 more minutes, and I would like to open I would like to get a few questions from the chat box. Okay, so right now, if you have, to all the audience, if you have any more questions, please post in the chat box. If you have any question to the speakers, especially. So about a question on returning back to Malaysia while you still have graduate route visa. Technically, you cannot, while you're in a graduate route visa, you cannot study at a full time, but we need to check if it's just a short course, it's fine. But if it's like a semester, that would be a bit hard. So best to have a further check on this. But I'm not too on the subject if you can return for 1 semester, 6 months to study. Another question. Mostly my colleague have answered it. And about VFS, we leave a state lines there about who you can contact. But only if it's really urgent, you need to ensure that you have already received the CAS, then you can proceed with the visa. And once you receive your visa, then you can purchase your flight ticket. Would you recommend flying to the UK earlier in order to complete the 10 days? Yes, if it seems practical, I would say so. And can guardians to go to the UK along with students? Yes, but you need to, in your My Travel Pass, this is where I'm sure that the dependent will not apply for any visa, but you need to ensure that you got the permission from the immigration department that your dependent can accompany you. So it all can be done by the My Travel Pass. So have a look at the My Travel Pass website. You can work part-time while studying in the UK, but there are certain hours that you need to follow. It goes by week. That's certain hours that you can only work part-time. But usually in the case of working as a librarian in a university environment, that should be fine. In terms of IGCSE, it depends on the universities. If they accept, the standard we usually accept, the universities will always accept IELTS or Cambridge. So far, if you still have quarantine, you have received 2 doses, you still need to quarantine because it is a criteria for the amber list countries, such Malaysia. Okay, the one that's a bit more technical on visa, I may skip some that are not in my jurisdiction. I will share the recordings tomorrow once we compile all the sets of data. So we'll share with you. We'll probably come up with an FAQs that you showed in this chat box. We'll publish the FAQs in our website. Okay, so if more technical question, I would like to, so for example, if a student has get first dose vaccination in Malaysia but not able to get the second dose, can they get the second dose in the UK? Sinovac acceptable. So as I mentioned previously that Sinovac is not one of the list of vaccines being implemented in the UK. So I would like to suggest that you contact your university, preferred university, so they can consult with their GP. So each universities have their own GP being consulted, so that GP can advise the best solution in this. Is there any question for the speakers audience about graduate routes or about UK universities, or to Edward?
Rifhan, I've spotted there's a couple of questions about when students should arrive in line with the quarantine requirements. So just to pick that
Sure.
that one up. As the universities will have different requirements around when students can arrive and how long they will allow you to study remotely for, then you should check that with your individual institution, and they will be able to advise you. So last year, some universities did have a requirement that students needed to complete their self-isolation before the start of term, and some universities were happy for students to do that after they arrived after the start of term. So each university will be slightly different. Overall, I think our advice would be students should, if they can, arrive as early as possible and complete that quarantine period before the start of term if you can, because then it means you can engage right from the beginning of your course and you don't miss out on any of that interaction. But as mentioned, some universities will have online options for you to get that engagement during that period as well.
Yes, Siobhan, on another question, the question, can students use public transport when they arrive in the UK to go to their universities? Any thoughts on that? Or they need to get a private logistic for that?
I'm not entirely sure of the answer to that question, I'm afraid. We could check and then share that. I think my understanding is that you can use public transport if you're from an amber list country, but you must go directly to your accommodation. So it's a requirement to go there. You can't go and visit other people and do other things on the way. And that's because sometimes the journeys will be quite long and then private transport might not be feasible. But where possible, private transport would be preferred. Lots of universities will be providing that transport arrival coach collection service, and we would encourage you to use those services because they will be safe, they will be organised, and often they're free of cost for students as well.
Okay, thank you, Siobhan. All right, we are at the end of the session. Okay, for any further questions, you can email me or you can email my colleague, Prefine. We'll answer our best about a question regarding studying in the UK. Okay, so with that, we are at 1 minute past our scheduled time. So thank you so much. And before I end the session, there's a few things to take note. We have a feedback form. If you have the time, you can fill up. My colleague Shalini have posted it. You can post the feedback form. You can also post the questions that we are unable to answer because of the time constraint. So please do complete the feedback form and let us know your thoughts. On behalf of the British Council, I would like to say thank you for your time today. And just to take note that on the 17th of July, we will have a pre-departure briefing, also on the 11th of August. So pre-departure briefing, the format will be quite different than this. The format will be more about what to prepare to study in the UK. We will have UKVI in that session as well. So if students who confirm to go to the UK have any question about visa, they can attend the session and post questions to the UKVI person, UK Visas and Immigration. And I will also invite current student and alumni to join as well as university representative. All right, so that's the end of the session. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best in the study. Hopefully can see you in the UK. Cheers, take care and stay safe, everyone. All right, thanks team. Thanks Boyfan. Thanks Brenda.
Thanks all.
Thanks Siobhan. Thank you.
Bye.